Okay, so this is my second drive, more or less, in this vehicle. The first kind of drive was to get it smogged, and I wanted to check the oil afterwards. So the only way to check the oil is actually through the onboard computer or whatever. So this is not a cold start. The car is pretty warm. Alright, so I'm just going through what is this? We'll just go with this. So I'm still trying to figure out this car. Needless to say, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because I don't want to F something up or accidentally scratch it. The brakes squeak, which is kind of interesting. They're new brake pads done at the dealership, but they squeak. They didn't replace the rotors, and they squeak. So I don't know if that's because they're new brake pads or what exactly. The overall experience has been good as it relates to the car. Everything is going well in terms of like nothing surprising. You know, like shipping went okay. Anyways, you can hear those brakes. It's kind of annoying. This car has been lowered on aftermarket Bilsteins. Let's see if I can do this without crashing now. And I've already scraped it, the front, and I'm not sure what I'm scraping, but I've scraped it a couple times now coming out of different driveways. So I have to take driveways extremely carefully, and then also, man, that's annoying, at an angle. So in the manual it says to start the vehicle, start moving immediately, and keep it under 4,000 RPM for the first 5 minutes. I'm going to do something about that. Could possibly replace the rotors, which probably need to be replaced anyway, so that might be my first project. The other thing I'm trying to do is not really modify it. And I say try because I have a tendency to modify everything that I own. But I want to keep it as original as possible. Now, the previous owner, which there's only one, has already, this is already traffic again, has already changed out the rear deck lid and put a spoiler, which I don't mind per se, but I would have liked the original. I have the original, but it's not complete, and it's somewhat scratched up. And what else has he done? And then replaced the shocks, so it no longer has PASM. I have the original PASM set up, and they look fine. They look like they're in good condition. But I think he put Bilsteins, or Bilsteins, whatever, however you want to say it. And I don't know if it's like the active kind or not, because there is a PASM button, and I don't know if that changes with the version of Bilsteins that he put on. I know there are Bilsteins that do adjust. I'm just not sure if he put those on. The car is in overall very good condition, I think. Exterior wise, I honestly don't know whether it's been painted or not, but the paint looks really good for being a 2009 vehicle. However, the front daytime running lights, side markers or turning markers, and one of the headlamps shows quite a bit of fading. I say one of the headlamps because the dealer did replace the passenger side headlamp, which I guess was malfunctioning, so they just replaced it with the original Porsche part. So there's a few things that are not ideal, I'm gonna say, but it's still okay or acceptable for a vehicle that's, well, how many years is this? 20, am I doing the math right? 24? No, 2009. Yeah, 24. No, 14 years old. Wow. Can't even do that. So I have a whole plan for my first video on the new channel. The new channel is OCD 911. My first video will be kind of like the buying experience that I went through for this vehicle, and then kind of like going over the car, what's good, what's not so great, showing the wear and tear, and then talking about what I plan on doing with the car, which is basic maintenance. It's not going to be any kind of mods, I don't think. The seating position is interesting. I remember this from my other 911. So I had an 87 and an 88 years ago, and I could it's not that I could never find the right position, but it was always interesting. It was very different than what I was kind of comfortable with, and I feel like it's the same thing with this car. I have a feeling that the road I'm going to go on is going to be too bumpy for this car, especially at the height that it's at. So I'm going to go up, just turn around, and then come back. I'm also basically driving this during rush hour, so I don't want to get caught too much in this. So this guy's going. Definitely faster than my 928, that's for sure. I'm gonna go really slow on this because I know there's some whoops on my bottom out the front end here. Tires are new. I think they said they did the spark plugs. I don't know if they did the coils, if that's what they're called. I got the DME report. I also have a reader, so I was able to verify those two things. There's nothing really egregious. First range or whatever, the hitting red line wasn't done significantly or anything to be concerned about. Nothing in range. They have the rest of the 5 ranges. You know, they talk about how the exhaust note isn't very exciting. I would tend to agree, but again, I'm not going to mess with it, I think. I'm just going to try to keep it as stock as possible. Plus, the other thing, you've heard the expression house poor. I'm like Porsche poor. I can't afford to do any mods on this car. In terms of driving impressions, I really can't say much of anything. I think it's a little bit sensory overload right now. I want to be able to drive it a few more times before I can start commenting on. It's definitely more powerful. The steering feels nice. The wheels are 19-inch wheels. I think standard is 18-inch. say the tires are actually a lot wider than what's